Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Spider, and welcome back to another review. And today we're taking a look at the Transformers Buzzworthy Bumblebee Origin Jazz. This figure released back in 2023 and based on its appearance from the first episode of the original Transformers cartoon. So, to get this review started, we'll take a look at the packaging. And here we have the box. On the front, you get a nice image of Jazz in their vehicle mode. You get Transformers, you get the name of the figure, you get some characters. On the back, you get a couple images of the figure, a bunch of words. On the side, you get RC, and more of that front image. On the other side, you get a very nice image of Jazz, which looks pretty cool. On the bottom, just a bunch of words. On the top, you get Transformers Legacy Evolution for some reason. Like, trying to claim this is part of the Legacy Evolution line? That was just the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line. What was the point of that? I don't know. I'm confused. Well, anyways. On to the instructions. They're the long fold-out kind, which I still don't care much for. And overall, they're not very good in telling you how to transform the figure. Some of the steps they tell you to do are just completely pointless, and others are not very clear. So just save yourself the headache and just look up a video on the internet. They'll tell you to transform it a bit better than that. Anyways, onto the figure. And here we have Jazz in his Cybertron mode. And I'm going to be honest, until this figure was announced, I had completely forgotten he even had a Cybertron mode. Because he appears like this so briefly. Like, I think it only has like 10 seconds of screen time, as opposed to Wheeljack and Bumblebee, which are more up front and center. So, yeah, I just completely slipped my mind that this was even a thing. Also, it was raining a bit earlier, so it might start raining again. So if you hear noises, that's what it is. And now you know. Anyway, we'll take a quick look at Jazz here. Up front, he gets a nice gunmetal gray grill. Nice blue for the front. Get a very nice Autobot symbol there. You get some blue translucent windows, my favorite type of windows to have on Transformers. You get another blue stripe there. You get a big old spoiler. And you get the back figure, some gray. And you do have some holes here, so if you want to plug in some effects parts and make it look like he's boosting off and whatnot, you can do that. Yeah, it's pretty neat. The underside is, yeah, you can kind of see what's going on here. You got his arms there, you got his robot chest, and yeah. But it's not the worst I've seen. So, yeah, there's not too much to say about it. It's a tube with a spoiler. Not much to talk about here. It does have a hole on the top, so if you want to take the blaster that comes with it. There you go. Get the blaster. So you want to take that and just plug it into the top. Oops, that's a little too bright. There you go. You want to do that and plug it into the top. You can do that. Yeah, oh, I guess you can also plug it into the back. Yeah, like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the vehicle mode. It's neat. Represents what it's supposed to fairly decently. On to size comparisons. So to start things off, as always, here it is with a Lego minifigure. With the Pack of Destruction minifigure Mothra. With the Pack of Destruction minifigure Godzilla. And on to some more relevant size comparisons. Here it is with the 2007 Movie Deluxe Jazz. With the 2010 War for Cybertron Cliff Jumper. And finally, here it is with the previous review, the Buzzworthy Bumblebee Origin Bumblebee. And they do look very, very nice together. I do quite like that. So with that done, it's measuring time. Just get the figure up like that. and pretty much exactly 4.5 inches long. And if you want the width, I guess that's upside down. I know what I'm doing. Pretty much exactly 2 inches wide as well. So, a neatly sized little thing. Now it is time for the transformation segment. So, to get things started, I'm going to come here and basically just grab it at the front bit here and just kind of pull it like that, and that will untab these two side panels like so. Kind of want to bring it up just a little bit, and you want to just disconnect it from this, which actually wasn't too bad, but usually it can be a bit more stubborn, and I'm just not a big fan of it because this whole bit is clear plastic, as are these tabs, and you pull them apart, and I just makes me nervous. Don't like it. Anyways, next thing you want to do is just untab the arms. Actually, they don't really tab on too securely, but it's just a little tab there, and it'll just plug into that slot there. It's really just kind of hold the arms into place. It's not a super secure thing. But anyways, next we want to come here and split the legs like that. And then we'll get this leg out of the way. Move on to here. You want to pop that off, and then you want to extend the leg like that and fold that in, and then clip that back into place, and you can get your nail in there and fold out the rest of the foot, and there you go. You got a leg all done. And because the other leg is exactly the same, I just did it off camera to save time. Alright, so now we move on to this bit. So we want to pull this and just pull that back and down. That will disconnect from this because there's a little tab that would plug into that. Then you want to fold that up, and there's a little tab that'll plug into that, and then that just kind of sits there. This is a bit loose, kind of wish that plugged into there as well, but whatever. And then these two notches here, there's two little things there, or those notches, and that's a slot. Whatever, there are these things here, and you just slide them into there like that on either side, and that'll kind of keep the backpack in place. And then bring the arms out like so, rotate them like that, and fold out the hand, and it clicks into place. Love that. I love that it clicks into place, because I'm always worried about these fold out hands getting loose over time, so that is very lovely. Like that a lot. Do the same over there. And then you want to unplug this little accessory. We'll talk about that more later. You fold down the chest, and be wary. It's just holding on by friction, so it can pop off, but it just easily goes back on. And then you just plug it in like that. And there you go. You have Jazz in his robot mode. Also, the instructions tells you to flip the head around when going to vehicle mode. It makes absolutely no difference, and the head is not visible at the bottom, so there's really no point in flipping the head around. I don't know why it tells you to do that. It does nothing. It's very pointless. But anywho, here we have robot mode, and transformation to this is okay. It's not super fun. There are a lot of bits on here that just aren't great, and getting it into vehicle mode isn't the funnest either, because you really do feel like you're kind of stressing everything to just get it into place, and just do wish they went like with one or two more revisions through the transformation to get it just a bit smoother, because right now it's a little rough, but it's not too bad, and it gives us this robot. So let's take a look at the robot. First thing we're going to do is take a look at the articulation. The head is on a ball joint, so we're going to look that far up, that far down, Get a little bit of side to side. Can look all the way around. Arms can go that far out. Go all the way around, and due to transformation, you do get a little bit of butterfly joint. And depending on where the arm is, you can get a little bit more out of it. So that's pretty cool. He gets a pretty good bend at the elbow. The hand doesn't really move much. You can just kind of move like that. I do wish I had a wrist swivel, but I imagine that the peg there is why they didn't include it. There just wasn't enough space, I assume. Then, do have a pretty dang nice waist swivel. And then, you have the legs, which you have this new style way of doing the hips, which is pretty cool. Instead of having like a front skirt bit, the thigh bit is built into the leg, so it moves with the thigh. That is pretty cool. I like that new style of doing it, which allows him to kick that far forward and that far back. And you can kind of do the splits. It honestly gets in the way of the backpack. If we move the backpack out of the way, can do the full splits. So yeah, the backpack just, it gets in the way a little bit. Do have a quite tight thigh swivel. That's another thing. A lot of the joints on here are quite solid, and they have not gotten loose over time either. So that's pretty nice. You get a okay bend at the knee, and you get very nice ankle tilt, and of course, the toe can move. So yeah, the articulation is pretty dang good. It's just kind of limited by all of the crap hanging off of him. Which, yeah, that is a bit of an issue. Honestly, the backpack doesn't bother me too much, but the calves... Whoops, I dropped the figure. Didn't mean to do that. The calves are what really bug me on this guy. Like, goodness. Bumblebee also had a bunch of stuff on his calves too, but I feel like it just wasn't as obstructive as this is. It's just a big old solid piece of plastic there, which really limits the knee bend too. Like, you can't even get like a full, even just like, I forget, what is that angle? I don't know, but the full like straight angle, you can't even get that because of that. So it's just, it is a little disappointing. But what is not disappointing is the looks of this figure, or the details, or whatever. Because you got the head, which looks very nice, and as far as I can tell, this is the exact same head from the Studio Series 86 Jazz, just with a different paint, which honestly makes a bit of sense. It's the same character, just different mode. And honestly, it looks very nice. You get a nice silver face and a very nicely painted blue visor. Kind of wish it was light piping, but the paint here is very nice. You get this chest here with some translucent blue for the headlights, and a nice Autobot symbol there. You get the arms, pretty nice. You get the hand, which has this little notch in there. I don't really know what that's for. Maybe I knew one at one point and I forgot, but anyway. You get a hole in the shoulder, so you want to plug something in, you can do that. You get that. You get the shins, which, again, this bit here kind of ruins it because it cuts into the gray of the shin, which doesn't look super nice. Like, kind of gets cut off there. And just, I mean, it's not the worst look, but kind of wish that was done a little bit better. You get the bottom, which also has some holes, so you can plug in some effects parts. You get the back of the figure, it's got a hole, and you got these big old calves. So overall, from the front, the figure looks really nice. From the back, it looks less or so nice. So yeah, if you're going to display this figure, definitely have it looking from the front, because my goodness, especially from like the waist up, man, did they nail it. He looks really nice. Very, very cool. Now, this figure does come with a few accessories. You get his blaster, as we mentioned earlier. made to look like his blaster from the gun. His blaster from the cartoon. Man, I misspoke there. You can plug it into his hand. And they do tell you to plug it into his left hand, even in the instructions. It tells you to plug it into his left hand, even though pretty sure Jazz was right-handed in the show, so I don't know why they tell you to do that. That's kind of weird, but whatever. Looks pretty good holding this blaster, and because it's got that tab on the side, you can, you know, plug it into his shoulder or plug it onto his back or whatever you want to do with it. And then you come with another accessory, which is pretty neat, at least to me. Just grappling hook. Dang it. This accessory is so small they just fall right out of my hand. But anyways, that's really neat. I really like that it comes with that, because it's not an accessory he uses very often. In fact, in the show, he only used it in like the first couple episodes, and then that was it. It's kind of forgotten about. But I'm glad that it's here, because this is really cool. So you just fold in the hand and plug it in there like that. And that's a really nice look. The only thing is that there's no like real string or anything to kind of attach the two pieces. So it just, yeah, that part is not fun, but looks kind of cool. Yeah, and then you have the whole Evo Fusion thing of the line, which you can take this, plug it into the gun, and now you have grapple gun thing, I guess. If you don't want this blocky bit, you can just plug in the hook part. Yay, Evo Fusion. I don't know. I think Evo Fusion is one of the lesser gimmicks of Transformers. I think that's just, I don't know, it's just plugging one thing onto another thing. It's like, hey, it's a fusion thingy. It's like, I don't know. Just whatever. But the accessories separately are pretty neat. I do quite like them. And unfortunately, unlike Bumblebee, there is no port. Oh, I am lying. There is a port, so you can plug them into a stand. I just not noticed that. I didn't think there was one, but there is. Oh, cool. So you can get them into some air poses as well. I don't think that porthole works with any of the stands that I have. Maybe it does. We'll see later. But, yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that some of the more recent figures are doing that, because it does open up some pretty cool display options. Alrighty, so that's it for robot mode. On to size comparisons. Part 2. So to start things off once again, Lego minifigure, Mothra, Godzilla. On to more relevant size comparisons. Here it is with the Creo Jazz. Just quite a bit bigger. With the 2007 Movie Deluxe Jazz. Cliff Jumper. And finally, the previous review, Bumblebee. And just like in vehicle mode, they do look quite nice together. Also, if you're wondering, yes, Bumblebee's backpack can plug onto Jazz. Ain't that neat? So yeah, they look pretty good. And I do think it is a bit weird that after Bumblebee they released Jazz. Like, wouldn't it have made more sense to do Bumblebee, Wheeljack, then Jazz? Considering Bumblebee and Wheeljack are more well known for that episode, and Jazz isn't. I don't know, that just felt a little weird. But, whatever. Now, it's Measuring Time Part 2. You see here, he is pretty much 5 inches tall. Whoops. Sorry, Jazz, didn't mean to do that to you. My bad. But yeah, about 5 inches tall, which I do wish he was a little bit bigger. But he's not too bad of a size. not too bad at all. Oh, also, while I don't have the 86 Jazz, from what I've seen, they are basically around the same size. So, yeah. So, that is pretty much it for Origin Jazz. And overall, he's pretty good. There are some things holding it back, like maybe could have used some better kibble management, could have made the transformation a little less stressful, both physically and mentally. But I cannot deny he does look really, really neat, and even despite those imperfections, it still feels nice, and I still do quite enjoy this figure. Now, if you wanted one for yourself, unfortunately he is not in stores anymore, but on eBay it's going for around $30 out of the box and $40 and over brand new, which is quite a bit expensive for this guy, I do think. So maybe you can find one for less than 30, go for it, but other than that, it's a bit much, I do think. So, I did Origin Bumblebee. I just finished Origin Jazz. Am I going to do Origin Wheeljack next? No, because I don't like that figure. I mean, I like the idea of that figure, but execution, just... Like, the vehicle mode is pretty cool. Like, the fact that you're actually able to fit Bumblebee in there is really neat. But the robot mode is very compromised because of it. It's just so chunky looking. It's just, nah. I do not like the way that figure turned out. It's just too bulky, too chunky. Nah, I didn't like it. Yeah. It was kind of weird how, like, the management of the kibble kind of got worse as the figures went on. Like, Bumblebee's was, you know, it was there, but it was kind of manageable. Jazz was a little worse, and then Wheeljack is just all over the place. But yes, not getting that one. However, if they make an Origins Tetrajet, that I might be interested in. I consider picking that one up. But who knows if that's going to happen. So, that's all I've got to say, and this is probably going to be my last review of the year, so see you next year, I guess. See you later, sayonara, bye.